Disneyland is often said to be the happiest place on Earth, but it could also be one of the most haunted places on Earth as well. Not everything that happens here is happy all the time. The Walt Disney Company is worth over $92 billion, and there might be a few things that I want you to know about. From secret messages hidden in their cartoons to Disney stars behind bars. Here are 12 most disturbing secrets about Disney.
Hey guys, this is your host, American Eye. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy that video.
Number 12. Dizzyland Ghost. This photo was captured from a surveillance camera near the Disneyland's Haunted Mansion ride. Is it possible this attraction is truly haunted? The ghost is seen on camera, walking around, looking lost and confused. If you were a ghost, you'd probably choose to come to Disneyland too, right? Some people claim it's Walt Disney's ghost, but due to the low-quality camera, it's a little bit hard to tell for sure. Take a look at the video online and let us know what you think. What's also really creepy about this specific ride is that some people actually sneak in people's ashes and scatter them secretly. Disney staff would also advise against this because the ashes just kind of end up in a vacuum. Number 11. Space Mountain Disneyland. This amusement park seems to attract more than just smiling children. It also seems to attract ghosts. What ghost out there wouldn't want to come here, right? Due to the high volume of guests who come here, there's bound to be a few tragedies that happen every now and then. Space Mountain is said to be home to a woman who gives off a greenish glow known as Disco Debbie. This was from a soul of a crew member who suffered from a fatal aneurysm while on the job. Number 10. Big Thunder Mountain. This attraction is modeled after Bryce Canyon National Park in Utah and has a pretty spooky theme to it. People on the ride get the feeling that they're going through a haunted ghost town that was built for mining gold. But the miners didn't realize that they were building on a sacred Native American burial ground. There have been over 10 injuries reported on this ride, with one of them being fatal due to poor maintenance. It opened to the public at Disneyland in Anaheim in 1979. Scenery fell in 2011, injuring 5 people. It was said to be from poor maintenance as well. Other guests at Paris were injured on Big Thunder Mountain when it actually derailed. Could it be true that this place is actually haunted? Number 9. The Matterhorn Basketball Court. If you've been to Disneyland in Anaheim, California, you've probably seen the Matterhorn ride, which is modeled after the famous jagged mountain in Switzerland. Rumors started going around that at the very tip top of the mountain, there's actually a basketball court in the attic, complete with rims, basketball hoops, court markings, and all the bells and whistles. But could this really be true? We looked into it, and it appears as though it is indeed true and not a hoax. It turns out that there was a strange law about having buildings reaching a certain height in Anaheim, but with one exception: sports facilities. With the addition of a sports facility, Disneyland was allowed to construct the Matterhorn just a little bit taller just by adding this little basketball court. Number 8. Disney will sue you. This all just started off as a myth, but it turned out that Mickey Mouse is watching and you better not dare try to show his image or he'll sue you. Disney found out, somehow, that a teacher had a 5-foot-tall mural portraying Mickey Mouse and other Disney characters at a daycare in Florida. Disney told the school that they better cover it up or they'll see them in court. We heard they got pretty good lawyers over there and could be pretty aggressive suing people. They said that they were not obeying the trademark copyright laws and they couldn't show Mickey without paying up. It was stated that Universal Studios actually did this because they wanted to stir up a little bit of drama and give Disney a bad name in Florida. Don't forget, there's 2 theme parks here. Universal then came in and said, "You guys can use copyrighted characters from our company free of charge." Slick move, Universal. The movie theme park competition is no joke, folks. Number 7. Questionable advertising techniques. Very similar to the Kinder Surprise chocolate ball, which contained a toy, the Nestle Magic Ball got recalled for the same reasons. You might remember of getting this Nestle chocolate ball and being pretty excited to get a toy, but others might have been a little bit more excited for the chocolate instead. Usually the toy was Disney related, and in this photo, we can see them selling one from the Hercules movie. They proved to be big choking hazards, and the FDA notified that the toys in the chocolate are not allowed. Eventually, they were forced to take them off the shelves, despite them still being illegally smuggled during this time. Is there a black market out there for toys that are not allowed in the US? Maybe. Number 6. Wild behavior on Splash Mountain. Here in this photo, we see a perfectly coordinated and well-executed flash taking place on Splash Mountain, and we're not talking about the camera. There is a phenomenon going on called flash mountain, when women might pull their tops down and get the twins on camera. These photos happen more often than you might think and normally aren't for sale. Someone in an office is going to take a look at the photo and then blur it out so no one can see it. This will certainly not show up on the screen while you're leaving. There's probably some guy at Disneyland who has thousands of these photos stored somewhere on his computer. Number 5. Mouse abuse. You might not always realize it, but those characters dressed up at Disneyland often have to deal with some wackos, and those costumes can get pretty dang hot. Some have claimed that during hot days, the performers have actually suffered from heat strokes. Due to some harsh conditions at times, there have been some cases where employees seemingly become easily irritated. In one case, a man dressed as Tigger punched a boy in the face when he put his arm around him. Both visitors to the park and the people in the costumes have been sent to jail for inappropriate touching at Disney World, and over 35 employees have been arrested for crimes on kids. Number 4. Disney stars behind bars. You probably don't need to remind you that many young stars have gotten big help from Disney, but you probably also begin to realize that they don't always grow up to be the same person once the fame gets to them. Numerous Disney stars have been put behind bars for DUIs, mental breakdowns, and possession. Lindsay Lohan is a perfect example who's been locked up for all those reasons. Michael Musso, who was on the Hannah Montana show with Miley Cyrus, found himself with 2 counts of DUI before the age of 21. He faced 6 months in jail. You might remember also Orlando Brown from the show That's So Raven. In 2016, he was in some legal issues with domestic assault. When police arrived, he was in possession of some illegal substances, and his future isn't looking too bright. Oh yeah, and how could we forget about Brittney Spears? The list goes on, and you have to wonder what's going on with kids these days. Number 3. Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber, the same person? Miley Cyrus may have lost her good girl image after Hannah Montana was over a while ago, and it was also just about the same time Justin started getting into trouble. Some even claim there's a conspiracy that Justin Bieber is actually Miley Cyrus with no makeup on. This photo was altered of Justin's mugshot, which really shows you how much he looks like Miley Cyrus if he puts them on. As you dig deeper into this conspiracy, you might not completely doubt it. You'll also notice it was right around the same time Justin Bieber released his hit single Baby, which started getting popular on Disney Radio. Then, Miley Cyrus, also around the same time, started getting a little bit wilder. The two are listed as less than a few inches apart, born within a couple of years from each other, and seem to be in the same weight range of about 20 pounds or so. Some also feel as though Justin Bieber was kidnapped by Disney and forced to perform as both a male and a female so he could earn twice the money. Have you ever seen them at the same time at the same place before? Probably not. How could you actually make more money than Justin Bieber? Maybe have an alter ego possibly, and sell twice as much merchandise? Who knows? Number 2. Disney subliminal messaging. It's one thing to try to fool us with Bieber Cyrus, but American Eye is sniffing out your subliminal messages. After doing some thorough research on this topic, it seems like some people responsible for these animations are kind of playing some messed up jokes, considering how Disney is supposed to be the ultimate family go-to company. Back in the days of cartoons, animators would cleverly sneak in little inside jokes that wouldn't be remotely noticeable on VHS or the big screen. They had no idea how far technology would come. This includes the case where a nude woman in the background during the film Rescuers was shown. It was just for a brief moment, but as you pause it, you can see it. For a very brief moment, children were actually subconsciously exposed to nudity. This is mainly a joke among animators and not really meant to sexualize children at a young age. While some auditory messages can also be spotted, the creators just claim that you're misunderstanding. But why does it keep happening so many times though? And number 1. Messed up storylines. We've seen it over and over again. Disney gets away with telling some of the greatest lies in history, especially when it comes to Pocahontas. The idea that a Native American would fall in love with an imperialist such as John Smith is just preposterous. They basically made up this story so we don't have to feel bad about whatever happened in the past. By the time John Smith reached America, Pocahontas was only 10 years old at this time. Disney just made her a tad bit older so they can make her the next big hit. The real story is much less fairy tale-like, and the one we are used to watching is most likely the version given by John Smith. Many Disney storylines are all knockoffs with much worse stories that are just slightly changed so parents will still take their kids. If Disney didn't change the stories, the original Sleeping Beauty would have certainly been an R-rated film. It was based off a book where a king actually rapes a princess while she's sleeping, and then they end up getting married somehow. We don't want to ruin your childhood, but feel free to look it up and tell us your thoughts in the comment section.